Guys, it's Yishan here. Before we get into the video, I wanted to remind you guys that if you enjoy my content, to please consider subscribing. Also, your boy is now partnered with TCG Player, so if you are planning on buying Yu-Gi-Oh singles or sealed product and want to support the channel, then please consider using my TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. So I just got first place. Well, not just, this was about a week ago. I got first place with this Zoodiac deck. And the reason I was trying it out was because I thought it had some good matchups the minute I wanted to test it out. And that's sort of true. Zoodiac is really good against Prank Kids, jumping up in popularity. Pretty good against Dragon Link. It's okay against Dinosaurs, not its greatest matchup. But it's got decent matchups, and I think the deck could be on the rise, especially with Prank Kids getting a lot more popular. And I wanted to show you guys my pure Zoodiac deck. I'm not an expert on it, so I'm going to show you the exact list I played to get first place with, but then I'm going to tell you guys what sort of I've experienced with the deck, maybe some changes I would make, and I would really like to hear your feedback as well. So let's get right into the deck. It's pure Zoos 2020. This is a very underplayed deck, I think, for its power level. It's got a lot of potential, and it's sort of easy to learn. It's not like totally brain dead. It's not brain dead at all, but it does take a little bit of practice, and I'm still learning a little bit. But it's definitely something you should try if you've got Zeuses lying around. You know, the deck's pretty cheap otherwise if you've got some Zeuses. So that's sort of what happened with me. I had some Zeuses. I wanted to try it out. So we're going to start this deck off with 3 Zoodiac Thoroughblade. Now, Thoroughblade, probably the best zoo monster in my opinion, because sometimes you have too many zoos, it helps you draw into interruptions. But I just play the standard 10. I play 3 Whiptail. This comes up every once in a blue moon to banish something. Ram, sort of good for your first turn. Rat plays with Chaka 9 and Trident. And then we've got 1 rat. So, you know, it just helps you get the rest of your zoos in the graveyard. I don't have much to say here. You don't really need to play anything else. The truth is, the zoo barely matters. Just having a zoo is important most of the time. You know, sometimes the attack points matter if we're trying to go for game, that sort of thing, but nothing too crazy. Hand traps. So one thing I really like about the pure zoo deck is its ability to interact on so many different levels with your opponent. And what I mean by this is it can interact with hand traps. It can interact with traps. It can interact with monster effects on the field. It's very hard for your opponent to have cards that blow you out, basically. Since you're such a flexible deck, you only need some Zeuses, and it's really easy for you to establish a Zeus and totally blow your opponent out. And so I like running a lot of hand traps and running a few traps to pair with those hand traps, because I think it gives this deck a supreme flexibility that makes it actually very strong. So Ash, just the most generic hand trap. And then probably one of the best hand traps in this deck is Dimension Shifter. And this is like the perfect Dimension Shifter deck, because if you're going to use Dimension Shifter, you need to either set up a strong board to go along with your D-Shifter, or OTK your opponent. Now, you're probably not going to be OTKing, but D-Shifter combined with the Zoo, it's really easy to set up a Zeus. One of the best cards in this deck, and one of the great reasons to play a pure Zoo deck. It really gives you that avenue of attack that not many other decks can afford. And then I think 3 Droll is also super good. Again, like you said, you want your opponent to commit a few things, but not too much, right? Hey, don't make too many negates. Let me get that Zoo attack in, but I want you to commit a little bit so I can Zeus all your stuff away at the same time. And this just helps you stop from getting super comboed. You know, it's really good like to have these hand traps like backed up with a Trident. You know, okay, my opponent's going to try to search. Now they can't search for the rest of the turn, and I'm going to pop the thing that they summoned, and their home combo is basically dead. So there's that. And then we've got 3 Nibiru. This is sort of the hand trap I'm least sure about. I was thinking that, you know, Nibiru with a few interruptions sometimes can make it hard for your opponent to play around Nibiru. It also blows out a lot of, you know, just greedy players, or some decks just get totally blown out by it. I sort of liked it, but I can see how you might want to play another hand trap in its place. So I'll talk about that. I've got a few hand traps in mind, but let me know what you would play if you don't want to play Nibiru. And 3 Tanky, just the best zoo monster. I guess I lied actually. This is the best zoo monster because it can special summon itself. Because the deck's main weakness is that it loses when its normal summon is disrupted. But I like the Tankies just because it lets you search any zoo. This deck is actually also really resilient to the hand traps in the meta. Ash is only very alright against it. We have Drolls, just horrible. Lancia, just horrible. Phantasmate, just horrible. So, you know, Nibiru you can play around. So I sort of like these cards a lot. They're just they're like the power cards in the deck, basically. And then the other spell power card is this Pot of Desires, right? So it's just totally broken in this deck. I don't even care about desiring into desires because I just will activate the second one. There's almost nothing I care about banishing. Actually, there is really nothing I care about banishing. So unless I'm banishing like every single zoo monster in my deck, it doesn't really matter. So really good in this deck. And then of course, triple cosmic, not of course, but again, this gives another way for the deck to interact. So like some things, okay, the Schism I need to banish on my turn, you know, Mystic Mind, this sort of thing. It makes the deck very, very flexible. Cosmic is a flexible card. You're not losing the Lancia, so playing Cosmic is just fine. But again, I really like Cosmic. It gives you that flexibility that's what this deck is all about. And then one D-Fissure, I actually really like this card. Every time I drew it, it was solid all-star card. Just modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so graveyard dependent. Prank hits, Dragon Link, you know, anything, Ogadic, whatever their people are playing, you know, D-Fissure just shuts it down. And I really like it with Dreaded. It makes your Dreaded pop so much better. And then we've got traps. I think the best trap card in the game is probably Triple Solemn Strike. And so again, like I don't like to run too many traps. I only run 7 because I don't want to be blown up by cards. I want to have different avenues of interaction, but Solemn Strike is one of the best avenues of interaction. And then Triple Judgment. The reason I like this card so much in this deck is because it adds another dimension to the deck. It gives you a way, you know, that's something that Zeus can't really stop, you know. They activate a spell card. Okay, I'm in Judgment that. Zeus can't stop that. You know, it interacts with negation, not on the board, whereas Zeus interacts with the board. So, you know, it's really good there. And then I like one Macrocosmos as well. So the same idea as D-Shifter. You know, you can surprise people. This changes to an invocation. The Mecha Butt that they're summoning is useless. And, you know, they don't get their invocation back, which is real nice. So that is the main deck. Really solid main deck. I really like it. The only thing I might change is the Nibiru, so do let me know what you're thinking about the hand trap lineup. But any comments, criticisms, concerns, greatly appreciated. I'm going to go to the extra deck now. I'm going to go through it pretty quick. I think I can make some changes, but I ran 3 Borbo and 3 Tiger Mortar. You don't need to run 3 of these, but as long as you're conservative and careful with these, you're fine. But again, if you have a bunch of these, then you don't need to be careful and conservative. So like, it doesn't really matter what you run as long as you're running a little bit of each name. Triple Chakanine I think is the best one, so you probably want to keep that 3 Chakanine. Dryden is the best one, but you can only run 1. And then I ran 1 Hammer Kong. This is like something I might want to bump up to 2. So I could cut like a Borbo or a Tiger Mortar for that. I think having 2 Hammer Kong is good. 2 Zeus. The reason I ran 2 Zeus is because I only had 2 Zeus. So you can run 3, but you only need 2. I never needed the 3rd one, but Zeus is there. Drill Driver, very good. Basically, it helps you float. It helps you just OTK. Very nice. And then 1 Fortress, Megaclops, Infinitrack guy. It's just great to make them sometimes when your opponent's got like, you know, your opponent can't do anything about it. And it's just a really unique card. So I think changes to the extra deck I would make, I would cut a Borbo, probably cut a Tiger Mortar. I would add a, this is not the Earth Charmer, this is the Wind Charmer that I ordered on accident. I was supposed to order the Earth Charmer, but I ordered the Wind Charmer, so stupid me, I guess. But yeah, I would, you know, cut that out because I think Flying Sea is pretty popular right now, or Contact Sea, excuse me. And it's like a great way to like, you know, link off your Zoodiacs for like something that floats. And then, you know, like the dinosaur, they summon a token, you can link it off. As well as just having an extra Hammer Kong, because sometimes like I find myself a lot of times going for a huge Zeus because I think they're like, I see weakness in my opponent's board, and I know if I get a triple Zeus, like a 6 material Zeus, they're not coming back. And so yeah, that's sort of the change that I make to the extra deck. Side deck, I'd probably make a few changes as well. So Alpha, I thought this would be really good because I thought it would have a good interaction with Dragon Link, but again, the thing you're worried about in Dragon Link is the Tiding and the Seal. Those are the 2 cards that you're trying to deal with here, and I think Alpha doesn't do a great job with that. And the reason why I say that is because if you hand trap Dragon Link enough, sometimes they only end on Seal. But then this card doesn't do anything. So it's like, that's a good situation for you. You want your side deck card to be really good when they only end on Seal, but then you can't summon this if they only end on Seal. So it's a little awkward. Maybe Pankratops or a Kaiju would be better. I don't know. What do you guys think? You know, what do you side for going second against Dragon Link? One thing that I have noticed is pretty good is Lancia. Dinosaur can be a tough matchup. If you draw Lancia, you're going to be fine. It's good against Invocation decks. Get that Invocation in the graveyard, which much better than having it going over and over again. I really don't want to see Alether summoned 10 times in the same duel. Really annoying. And then Dark Ruler No More. This card I would not take out of the side deck. It's just the best. I mean, you do it against combo decks. You know, it's perfect because you just attack directly, blow up their whole board, send it, excuse me, and they really can't do anything about it. There's very little counterplay, and I like cards that don't give your opponents counterplay. And then we've got Triple Twin Twisters. This is another card I'm not sure about. It's decent, but you don't really have good cards to discard a lot of the time. And, you know, I could see playing like Harpy's Feather Duster, or, you know, you don't really even need that much background removal depending on the meta, so you could go greedy, you could go more kaijus, maybe more like anti-spell fragrances. Right now I'm only running 2 because I only had space for 2 because the last card, of course, is Imperial Order, which is just better. I really like the double anti-spell that it's real strong because it sort of forces your opponent to commit spells to the board, and we can sort of interact with the board in that sense because, you know, we have Zeus, we just send all the spells away that they just set. So I really like that interaction. So it's a cool card for siding going first. So that's it, guys. I just want to talk about a few cards here. So again, this Wind Charmer was to remind me to talk about the Earth Charmer, Skullmeister, and Ghost Spell. I think these 2 cards could have very interesting interactions with the Zoodiac. Like, instead of Nibiru, maybe could even find their ways in the side deck. Very good. Like, the Skullmeister is good against Dino, but this is like sort of better against Invoked and stuff, and Shadows. Soul Drain, I think, is a really good card. I think you could see some play on the side. It's just like a total blowout. Floodgate again. Pankratops again, sort of like instead of that Alpha, a Kaiju maybe. You know, what do you think about that? Combo, I've never actually felt like I needed combo. This, you know, the games are too fast these days. So that's that basically. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I'd really like to hear, if you've been playing Zoodiacs for a while, what your thoughts are Zoodiac on Zoodiac in this meta. But that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. I really have been enjoying this deck. It's kind of fun. It's very straightforward, and I like straightforward. So until next time, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.